Welcome to a moment of empowerment. I'm Evylyn Rose, and I'm giving you this brief video overview to help you improve your spiritual health and well-being in whatever little way that we can today. If you haven't already, please be sure to watch the introduction video for this series. It gives you so much more on the background of who I am, what this video series is about, as well as why I'm doing it. For today's topic, we are talking about why meditation is foundational for your tarot practice and so much more. Okay, stillness in life and reading. So meditation and mindfulness practices, they exist across all times and cultures as far back as we have any record of these things. It is designed to turn that internal noise down. Human beings, our brains, our thoughts, our emotions, our actions, all of this generates more and more stress if we hold all of that in our brains and we never give it any sort of release. So meditation is that way to turn down that internal noise, calm that mind, calm the body and the brain. And in doing so, we also turn up our instincts and our intuition. Okay? When we do meditation practice, there are many different styles of meditation, different approaches to it. When we talk about mindfulness practices, some of it comes from those meditation practices, and others are developed through other means. I do have a course where I go over meditation, and I do talk a lot more about these differences between mindfulness meditations and more spiritual and religious meditations. But for the purposes of this video, we'll keep it short. The biggest thing to keep in mind here is just that the meditation practice, whichever practice you use, it helps to develop those individual skills that are also involved in tarot, magic, or spellcraft, and most esoteric and spiritual practices of any religious persuasion. If you haven't worked it out by now, again, meditation is a foundation that you cannot skip in if you are going to read tarot or if you are going to be involved in any sort of spiritual health and well-being practice. So meditation practice, it is vital to setting our ego aside so that we can tap into our inner wisdom, especially if your approach to spirituality or to tarot or to anything involves helping others and serving others. You have to be able to set aside your own personal issues and struggles and thoughts and that, again, internal noise so that you can actually be there authentically and fully for that person. Okay. Again, meditation is not about emptying the mind. This is something that isn't about doing, it's about being. So if you're struggling with meditation because you think it's supposed to be about having no thoughts and that you have to actively stop your brain from doing anything, then that's a task. We put it on our schedules, we have it on our to-do list, and when you frame it in that way, you're going to struggle to actually meditate. So remember that meditation is about being. It's about being in the moment, being aware of our surroundings, being present, and then not having to have a thought about it, not having to have a judgment about it, not having to make any decisions about it or plan about it or think about how you're going to cross this off of your to-do list in a few minutes. Meditation is all about simply being. Okay. Again, meditation and mindfulness, these skills are what help you to hear those subtle signals. These are what we call intuitive hits. Okay, this is your intuition or your psychic skills. It's those symbolic insights, so things like omens or synchronicities. Okay, it's also that inner wisdom, those things that you already know in your body and your soul. Okay, but we can't always access that wisdom when we're too busy dealing with all the stuff and the chaos that goes on in our minds. A little bit more specifically for tarot, again, you can't interpret a tarot card's message if your own mental chatter is drowning it out. Okay, again, meditation skills are what helps quiet your mind. It's what lets you hear what the cards are saying. And of course, I have that in quotes specifically because we aren't actively audibly hearing it. We are visually seeing it and we're trying to work that out. Okay. It's also about digesting what comes up. So when we do a reading, whether it's for ourselves or for others, there is that need to process that information, trying to work out what is the message that is there. And if we have too much mental chatter, we run the risk of not even being able to figure it out, not being able to process it, and or also mixing up the signals and putting our own ego thoughts into the message rather than just the message purely as it is. So this again is why when you ask me personally how to read tarot, um, or how to get started with reading tarot, I'm always going to push you first and foremost toward meditation practice, toward mindfulness exercises, because without those, I cannot help you to read tarot authentically. All right. If you would like more information about this topic, this video does correspond with the blog post from January of 2026, why we start with meditation and why your tarot practice depends on it. And of course, squirrels, I do have a course that also is designed for helping with troubleshooting meditation practices. This is Meditation for the Chronically Distracted. It is very specifically for those of us who struggle with either neurodivergent thinking, most typically ADHD, but anything where the traditional classes for meditation, the traditional meditation practices simply just are not working for our brain. It simply just will not work. And so this is a course that is very specifically based on what I have found works for me and works for others who struggle in that same kind of way. So that's definitely something to check out. I will have all these links in the video description below. Um, Other opportunities to get more insight into meditation is by joining my weekly live streams, Lunar Lunch Break, Mondays at 1 p.m. This is a sort of office hours AMA Q&A session where you can have your answers to your questions live on the air. And then, of course, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Starlight Circle. It is a monthly newsletter where you will receive exclusive content and more one time a month, because any more emails than that is too much. All right. And of course, thank you for being here, for listening, and for taking the time to review those resources. I hope that this moment of empowerment helped you in some small way. If it did, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe below. This helps others to find their way here. It also helps the algorithms to know what you need more of in your life. So again, thank you, and keep radiating hope into the world.